the Stand Up Talk Radio Network.
I'm pretty sure that you have a way harder time getting through life than the average person, Ari. I don't know why anybody would listen to this. I know I won't.
Ari, your advice single-handedly broke up my marriage. You're an awful person.
You're 24 years old. Why would I listen to you? Why would you be giving therapy and advice to people who clearly need it? It doesn't make any sense, Ari. This is a horrible idea.
You're listening to
unlicensed
therapy with Ari Manis.
Have you ever promoted anything as hard as you promoted this new album?
No, but the truth is this. I guess when I really had something to promote, this big, for me at least, there wasn't Twitter, Instagram, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't doing that for that stuff back then, so no, I've never promoted anything.
Now, I've noticed a lot of people have been sharing your album. You've been getting a lot of support from All Things Comedy, your fellow comedian.
The Comedy Store, fellow comedians.
Store. Does that make you feel pretty good?
Yeah, man, that does feel good. It's nice to know your peers are there to help, and also my Crab Feast fans are ridiculous. Like,
that's good.
Is that just some backfire or some gunfire? Either way, it was some kind of fire out there, Ari. But they've been awesome, man. They've full on gone and supported, and the best thing about them too is they don't just leave a 5-star review like this is funny. They will shit on you in it. They'll put a little touch on it to let you know that
track number 3 sucks dick.
Yeah, that they're a Crab Feast fan. Yeah, there's a special little touch.
Is there anyone who didn't share it and you're like, I was thinking they would share it?
We won't keep that. I'll tell you what. Let me tell it to you this way. That list is a lot longer than the ones.
Really?
A lot longer than the ones.
And you keep track of it because you're psycho.
I got a list. Not only that, you've been on my show.
Oh, right.
You've been on my show, so I'll remember that.
Yeah.
I'll remember that. Yeah.
Wow.
But you focus on the positive. Like,
right.
I'm super stoked that it got to number 1. Right now, while we're doing this, I don't know when this will come out. That might be different. But while
this will
we're doing
push it to number 0.5.
While we're doing this, it's number 1 on the iTunes.
You don't even need
charts.
this. This is just bonus pod.
Yeah, you know what? Let me get out of here. And it hit 65 on all albums, I was telling you. So I didn't know that. My label hit me up last night. It's
pretty insane.
It's awesome. It feels great, man.
You're probably going to be a millionaire if I were to guess.
I mean.
Well, you already are. But
I'm not a millionaire.
I know.
But I thought about it the other day.
What's your net worth?
Well, if you look at that online, I'd love to be what it's worth online, but I don't know what my net worth is. I have to sit and figure it out.
I think I'm doing good for my
Does life
age
insurance policy count
as a comedian. No,
dude, you are. I'm telling you right now, this wasn't me at 29.
I think I'm not doing good for the average 29-year-old in the world or in the United States, but the average 29-year-old comedian.
Yeah,
I'm doing good.
You're doing really good.
I'm not in any debt.
That first of all, that's better than any comedian. That's person in this world.
No debt. I own my car cash, 2008 Prius. I'm a renter.
Well,
so I don't own a house.
I think in this city that's smart.
I'm not a homeowner. Yeah, I can't afford that. And
you have a life insurance policy?
No life insurance. But that's good. So I mean, I probably have.
You don't need it. There's
if I died right now, I think my parents would get $20,000+ worth of stuff.
Stuff, by the way,
like my car, money,
stuff.
A few $1,000s in money, not a lot of money. Just talking my savings account, maybe $5,000.
What do we end up with? Yeah, 20,000. Yeah,
about 20,000. They'd have to work a little for it. They'd have to sell some stuff. But 20,000, I'd leave them a little something.
Got some nice stuff. There's some money in this little studio.
Yeah, there's $1,000 worth of stuff in the studio right here. I need to get a bigger lock for it actually. Someone could easily break into this. That's how I got in. I'm actually wasn't supposed to use this space. And then my landlord died. And in that fumbling time of when they're figuring out who's taking it over, I took over the space. And when they ask about it, I'd be like, oh yeah, I've been using this the whole time.
Have they ever asked?
No.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to play it down.
Yeah, this is great. You did a good job in here. You did a really good job.
Thank you. So what, you did a lot of promotion today.
A lot.
And
I've been doing a lot of promotion.
Have you had any time to nap?
No.
No
I
nap.
haven't.
Do you take naps?
I wish I could master the art of the nap. I do not take naps. They're maybe I can count on one hand a year if I lay down for 30 minutes or an hour or something like that, but I don't nap. And I don't sleep a lot. I mean, especially when you have a kid. Like last night, my daughter didn't feel good, so we were up at 12:30, and then we were up at 1:45, and we were up until 2:30, and then I got to get up at 5:45.
And then she's miserable because she didn't sleep either.
She's super tired today at school, but it's school's problem now.
And it's
I said, hey,
preschool.
you're
you
tired,
don't, you
go
don't
to
need to
sleep.
be.
No,
You don't need to be present at
at
preschool.
No.
Yeah, the teacher wants you to sleep
Yeah.
in preschool. Yeah, go take a nap. Sure, do your thing. What? Why did you decide to do an album as opposed to a special?
Well, I wasn't really getting a special. And on top of that, just being in this world of podcasting, there are a lot of audio files out there. And I think people are sleeping on albums a little bit in the comedy world.
Yeah.
Because all of those people, you guys that listen here, you don't have to sit and watch right here, So that podcast audience is who I wanted to give that to.
That's your biggest
and those
audience.
are the
Might as
people
well
that
feed into that.
are absolutely making a difference on this album everywhere it is.
So my first time ever hosting a stand-up comedy show, you were on it.
Was I?
Yeah.
Where was it?
It was Ice House Comedy Juice, probably in 2012. I moved to LA, new comic.
From where? Where are you from?
I'm from San Diego, but I moved here from college, UC Santa Cruz.
Okay.
And I done comedy maybe 3 or 4 times there, brand new. I didn't know how anything works, so I'm like, I'm ready to move to LA. I did good 3 or 4 times. I'm the best comedian there is, so I moved to LA.
That was all it took?
That's all it took for me. I just didn't know. It wasn't like, I didn't have the thing where I'm like, I know most people start in smaller cities. Not me, I'm better. It wasn't like that. I just thought you moved to LA.
But in your defense, there is nothing to know. Like, you realize that now. There's no, it's not like you can go to medical school for 8 years, do all these
True.
things, and boom, you're a doctor. There is no definitive way
True.
to become or maintain and stay a fucking
You're
comedian.
100% true. But that being said, if someone were to say, hey, I'm thinking about doing comedy, I live in Milwaukee, I'd be like, cool, stay in Milwaukee and do comedy for a year.
I would absolutely agree with that.
But I didn't know that. So I'm just like, I'm moving.
I did
So-
probably 5 shows.
Okay, so you did the same thing.
Well, some weird life shit happened with deaths and things. So I started at 20.
Wait, who died?
My dad died when I was 16. My mom was gone long before that. We moved in with my dad's mom. She died.
Your grandma.
My grandma.
Why didn't you call your grandma?
Well, I just wanted to be clear which grandma it
Okay.
was because I had 2. And then she died, and then I just had to put myself through school and life and everything else. So I did about 5 shows when I was 20, and I didn't do stand-up again until 27.
Okay.
I was about 27, I think.
And where was this? Where are you from again?
Baltimore originally.
Baltimore, that's right.
And you know what's really cool, actually, is I just went back there to do some shows, and it feels good to sell out your home show and have to add a show. And the hotel they put me up in was next to the club where I very first did stand-up. And these shows, I was able to get the album to those shows and make it album release shows where people in Baltimore got it before anybody else in the world was
cool.
able to get it because it dropped on the 20th. And I was stoked to be able to do that. And I forgot what I was saying.
We smoked weed before this.
I forgot what I was
Preface.
saying.
But you were saying that you did comedy 5 times in
at
Baltimore.
that place.
Yeah.
So my hotel was right above this. So I walked into that place. And it's an Italian restaurant now, not the same, but it was really cool to actually, I was 20 at the time, I'm 45 now, to walk up that little alley and in, because it's a walk street, it's a cobblestone little street with a handful of bars and stuff. And
Sounds quaint.
it is very quaint. And I walked up and just, I guess I don't allow myself, maybe we'll get into this in therapy, I don't allow myself to feel good about myself enough. You know what I mean? Like,
Now, when you say you don't allow yourself to feel good enough, Do you mean because you're always
appreciate myself enough? Maybe is a better
and
way
do you
to
think
say
that's always because you're on to the next thing? You're like, okay, well now I need to do this, or do
yes.
you think, yeah?
And it's
that's
also because I've been on my own since I was 16. My dad, like I said, my mom had split. My dad died. We were living with him. He was a
How'd he
single
die?
dad. Well, they said heart attack back then, but through the health problems I've had and everything, we've come to realize it was actually probably a blood clot.
Oh damn.
But the medical world today, he died in '89. They're
Right.
saying that a lot of times back then,
They just didn't know
if
how
you
to
died
diagnose
under
it.
40,
Yeah.
it was heart attack, and now they're realizing that a lot of that even was
Blood problem.
Yeah, clot.
Yeah.
So I felt good to walk up that alleyway, and I said to myself, like, what a good decision it was to walk in this fucking door that night. Like, what a good look where it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I moved to LA, having done comedy 3 times, and I interned at Laugh Stub.
Oh yeah.
I didn't have a job. I lived in my aunt's garage, so
Laugh Stub.
I didn't really need money, or at least I wasn't thinking about money. I'm like, I'm just gonna do stand up every day and see where I could work. So I interned at Warner Brother Records actually, and Laugh Stub. And
Are these paid internships?
no, unpaid.
So
working
how are you-
for free?
how
I'm
are
living
you-
in my aunt's garage, so I don't have for
no
free.
income.
I have no
Zero,
income. I have
literally
like
zero.
I think I had around $2,500 in my bank account.
Yeah.
And which isn't a lot, but it's actually like for being 22 right out of college, I was like, that's a little
I came
chunk.
with 5.
Yeah,
thinking-
5K.
Thinking that was
Yeah.
$50,000. That shit was gone so fast.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the city.
so
You're like,
fast.
oh, I got towed. All
Yeah,
that parking
exactly. Yeah,
tickets.
first week I think I got $500 in parking
Yeah,
tickets.
exactly.
So, but yeah, I didn't have to pay rent. I was able. She let me raid her fridge. I overstayed my welcome a bit. I think she expected me to be in there a few months. I was in there, I think, closer to 6-7 months in her garage. But
Here you come full circle to a garage.
yeah,
How
and now we're in
about
a
it, bro?
garage now. So I was interning for free, not caring about money, just trying to figure out how everything worked.
And are you doing
Meet
comedy
people.
at night?
And I'm doing comedy every night, open mics, wherever I can go. And so I'm working at this desk, and every Wednesday at that time, it's not like this anymore, but Comedy Juice was the dopest show in LA.
Absolutely.
Wednesday night at the
No
Improv,
doubt.
every comedian was there, whether you're on the show or not. You're going to the Improv and you're supporting Comedy
Paul
Juice 'cause
McCartney
it's
was
sick.
coming.
Yeah.
Sir Paul McCartney.
Sir
was
Paul
coming.
McCartney. The lineups were
Yeah.
like Dane Cook, of course, but Daniel Tosh would drop
Oh,
in.
and then once it
Aziz.
started getting packed, everybody would text that who was there, and then the big
Yeah.
name comedians would start showing up just to get on because they wanted that audience to work.
Right. So it was just
Had everybody. It
everyone.
wasn't Chris. I feel like I was on a Comedy Juice one time with Chris Rock, David Spade, Dane Cook, Dalia, me. I feel like that was
Yeah.
a Comedy Juice.
It probably
lineup,
was.
and that
It
the
was.
lineup.
It was insane.
It was insane.
It was like the closest thing I could point it to is like the Comedy Store is right now on
Yes.
certain nights.
Yes.
And it was just fire. And so I was there every Wednesday, and I wasn't aggressive, but Saratella knew my face. He was the booker of Comedy Juice at that time, and he came into the Laugh Stub
Well,
office.
that's how I got to know you. 'Cause
Yeah.
You have a recognizable face.
Is that a good thing or a
It's a
bad
good
thing?
thing. It's a good thing.
Would you say it's hideous or super handsome and cute?
I would go somewhere in the middle of that. But more on the handsome, cute
Thank you.
than,
Thank you. That's
than the
what I wanted. I
hideous.
was
I mean,
forcing
hideous is
compliment.
very harsh. I mean,
I think I'm an LA 6. Normal Town 7. I think if I was in Baltimore, I'd be 7.
You're Baltimore 7.
Yeah.
You're Baltimore 7, don't you?
Yeah. But LA, I'm a 6. Yeah. Maybe if I got in, I think the only way to become an LA 7 is I'd have to get shredded. I'd have to diet and exercise and go to a tanning salon.
Yeah, don't tan.
No, I'm not going to do that. But
No.
that's what I'd have to do if
You
I
would.
wanted to get to a 7. If I become a movie star, which clearly is going to happen, then I'll try and become an LA 7.
All right.
So I was at Comedy Juice. He knew my face. Then he saw me at the Laugh Stub office. And I was like, hey, you're
Saratella.
Saratella, because we didn't know each
Great
other.
dude, Mark Saratella.
Yeah, great dude. And he just saw me and he goes, you're a comedian, right? And I said, oh, yeah, I go to Juice every Wednesday and hang out. And he goes, do you want to host at the Ice House? Hadn't seen me, just saw that I was grinding, whatever, interning for free at that company. And I was like, yeah, of course. And even though hosting at the Ice House, isn't a big deal in that moment, I was like, holy shit. It's happening.
Yeah, but it is a big deal because, like, when you go back and you look back on it, like every one of those steps mattered.
Right.
And, you're not getting to the top of a ladder without taking those bottom steps.
Right.
And you don't feel that at the time, but when you look back, when you look down, you're like, holy shit. That fifth one right there was really fucking important.
Yeah, and no, but at this time I did feel it. Like I was like,
and
oh
those
my
shows
gosh.
They were packed.
The Ice House shows were great too.
Yeah.
And I remember just being insanely nervous because I was doing 8 minutes, hosting a show I've never hosted before. I don't remember if I lied to him and told him I've hosted before. I can't remember. but I'd never done it before. I remember the night of the show, I did like 4 open mics before it to get ready. And it was you, Matt Fulcheron.
Yeah, full chart.
Adam Ray, and I forget who else. I think Saratella, and I forget who else. And I remember the only thing I remember that night, I did pretty good, considering, I wasn't good, but the audience liked me. I did fine. And I remember fucking up Matt's name.
What'd you call him? Do you remember what you said?
I don't remember what I called him, but I remember just feeling terrible about it for like a week because it was my first time hosting. And even though he didn't give a shit, looking back, he was like, I don't care, man. But in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I fucked up.
I fucked up Gary Owen's name one time. Called him Greg Owen, and he went up and just shit on. It was I love that. He shit on me for like 3 minutes about messing his name up, and it was just the funniest fucking shit.
If you can make it funny, it's good.
Yeah.
Now, if someone messes up my name, if it's not a major fuck up, you know what I do? I just pretend like that's my name for my set. You know what I mean? I just don't address it. I just do my set because too many times someone will be like, it's actually Ari Manis, and then the crowd's like, what? Do your joke. Be funny.
I had a dude, I can't remember who it was, comedian I feel like, or someone in our community, hit me up with a full charge joke. So I responded the way the joke goes, and then he hit me back again, and I was like, hey, you got the right show, but right person. You're calling me Ryan, but you're quoting full charge jokes. And he thought I was being a dick. And he got so confused by the whole thing. And I go, listen, what I'm trying to tell you is I am Ryan Sickler. You're telling me you like my jokes, but the jokes you're telling me are Matt Fulcheron jokes. And he's like, oh, okay, man. And then I was like, what the fuck?
He's probably just stoner or something. So right now you're probably at a pretty big high. Your podcast is ending. You're starting a new podcast. You got an album that's #1 on iTunes Comedy. Life's pretty good, I imagine. How are you feeling?
I don't know. I guess I feel great. First of all, I do feel great. I'm very happy with all that. But you as a comedian know the grind that goes into just getting a podcast done every week. So I have the album. I'm ending a podcast, starting a new podcast. I also produce. I have a show that's about to hit the air that I'm a co-EP on. Justine and Heidi's.
I didn't know you were attached to that. That's exciting.
After what I did with Josh Adam Meyer's Comedy Jam show, I took that to the production company, and then I helped sell that to a series. I was a producer.
I didn't
on
know that either.
Yeah, and then Justine and Heidi saw that and said, we have something we think you could do it with. And I went and watched, and I was like, this show is undeniable. And they really busted their ass, and E picked it up to a series.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
that's
so
exciting.
I'm a co-EP on that. And I have another 3 that I'm out with right now.
That you're pitching around, or what do you mean? Yeah.
That are doing well. And I think there's 2 that would actually all 3 of them could really crush. But so I've been fortunate enough to do that. So I'm juggling that. And on top of it, I also have a full-time writing, producing gig where I get to work from home, my own schedule, but I also have deadlines for that.
And you do stand-up, and you're a single parent.
People get on me about the single parent. Let me just explain this. First of all, my daughter's mother calls herself a single mom. So by default, I'm a single dad. But yeah, I have my daughter, like I said, she was with me this morning all the time. 50% of the time, and I'm heavily invested. I love it. I'm so
you have a parent.
Into it.
You're a loving dad. Mm-hmm. You got sounds like I don't even remember how many jobs you listed.
It's a lot.
Several
right now.
jobs. You got your stand-up. You got your podcast. So how do you? And you said you don't sleep much. So I guess that's one answer to how you juggle it.
I don't know. You just got to find those. It's almost like the whole producing thing really helps because I do that in my life. When I take a trip, when I take my daughter back to Maryland, we're going for 10 days, I produce it. I sit down and I make a list. What do we need to wear during the day?
So you're a planner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's everything we need to wear for the day. Here's a couple extra
You're
things.
not a wing it type of guy.
When I need to, if that
Sure.
Look, if it
You wing
presents
when you
itself,
have to wing
that's
it,
right.
but of course,
no
but-
doubt. I love to wing it when I have to wing it. If it's
But
a
you're
short
not
little
like,
thing,
we're going to San Francisco. We don't have a place to stay yet, but we'll find it when we get there. That's not you.
I'm more like, let's just get up there and roll the dice on hotels tonight. That's what it's evolved to. I used to be that way. I mean, I drove my car out here, and I had no plan when I got here. I had no place to live or anything.
In your maturity and your age and wisdom, you've realized I like to have a little game plan.
Yeah, and also when you have a kid with you, you don't want to be stuck with them, somewhere with a kid that's not as miserable and stuff. So, I just I schedule everything by that way.
Do you have any hobbies? Do you have time for any hobbies? What do you do when you have a day off and for that rare time you don't have your kid, you don't have any producing stuff, you don't have your podcast or a show that night? What do you do?
Here's what's crazy. I can't remember the last time that's happened, and I know that's one of my flaws. Is one of my many flaws is I need to take vacation because visiting and vacationing are two completely
100%.
Visiting is demanding as fuck.
Even when you go to a weekend somewhere,
That's right.
You think to yourself, I'm going to go, I got the shows at night, but everything else is going to be chill. It's not really like that.
Not.
Yeah, you
At
always
all.
end up fucking busy and whatever.
Sundays right now, I love to get up and watch football. I love the Ravens. I went to a game while I was there. I like to go hike, get out in the sun. I really like to get out in the sun. That's it, man. I don't really go to bars or anything. I feel like in our line of work, because I don't drink much, but I'm among those people and in those environments. So I feel like I don't need to go to places like that because I sort of hit my quota just doing what we do in clubs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that 100%. It's also hard to talk to normal people.
It is. It's hard to talk to normal people. And it's hard to talk to comedians, too.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just hard to talk to fucking people. But the truth is, I'd love to just sit down and lay on the fucking couch and just take 5, man.
Just turn the TV on and
also,
lay
that's another thing. I don't even watch TV that much anymore. I used to, and I'm not trying to sound like one of those people, but once you have a kid, you're like,
yeah, no, I get it.
God damn, it's fucking 11:30. I don't give a shit what's on ESPN tonight.
Yeah.
Like now I just keep up with it, online and stuff. So I'd love to just take a island vacation and just. I don't give a fuck about hiking your mountain. You know what I mean? I just want to go there and sleep.
Do you have a plan in your head of when a vacation could happen, or you have too much going on right now? You're like, I don't even know when that's gonna happen.
Not right now. And that's the thing. That's what I need to do. One of the things I need to do amongst all this other shit that I'm doing is
plan a vacation
time for myself.
Yeah, plan a week. Where would you go if I said, hey, congratulations, you won the unlicensed therapy vacation fund. Here's $10K. Where's your vacation going? By the way, that's not happening.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I got excited for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'd like to go someplace exotic that I've never been, but
Thailand?
Maybe like a Turks and Caicos or I would go to Jamaica.
Jamaica.
That's a short fucking flight. It's weed friendly.
How far is the flight? How long is the flight?
Well, what am I saying? You got to fly to Florida first, but then it's not far from there.
Jamaica. Have you seen the movie Cocktail with Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
That movie makes me want to go to Jamaica and be a bartender. It's so bad.
I don't know where the fuck that bar is.
I don't know where that bar is, but when I finished watching Cocktail for the first time, I'm like, I think I know my future. I want to be a bartender. That's a movie that can glorify bartending? It's pretty cool.
That's the one, yeah. That and Coyote Ugly.
Yeah.
The other way.
That's the other.
That's
the opposite.
The ladies' cocktail.
Yeah, the lady. Mm-hmm. That would be I wonder if that was in their log line. Coyote Ugly, the ladies' cocktail. Jamaica sounds pretty nice. I would like.
I've been one time and it was fantastic. I went for my brother's wedding and it was just, I loved it. It's crazy though, because
warm water.
Oh, bath water. But you're driving through, you know, poverty to get to these fucking resorts. You know, it's kind of
that's true.
It kind of, you know, if you're any kind of human being, it kind of just like, oh, this is.
That's why you just bring your phone, and in the car you just put your head down
stare
into
down
the phone.
at it the whole time.
That's the one beauty of the phone. You get to ignore life and the world outside you. What about, are you single?
I am.
How's that?
I mean, I'd love to, like, I built my, I planned my life in stages. So after I split with my daughter's mother, I was like, all right, let's just get out from under all of that, get health on track, because I had some crazy health issues. And then that's sort of phase one. Then phase two was be responsible, get a life insurance policy, get a living will and trust, like all the things my dad
Be an adult.
didn't have, and he died at 42. So who the fuck knows what's going to happen? Be a responsible adult to a child, not just an adult, but care for somebody, look after somebody. Because what I was told is no matter what you get, if you don't do it this way, it goes into probate court and shit, and it's in there for a couple of years, and by the time everybody takes their little fucking piece of the pie, you're not getting anywhere near what you were supposed to get. So I did all that, and that took a while. Started, you know, and I'm just by nature, we're our own business. You know, we're our own business.
Yeah,
I'm my S corp.
That's the hardest part for me, is like no one's telling me. That was like I told you how I didn't do the podcast consistently for the longest time. It's because, you know, I'm not getting a lot of feedback from the outside world, and no one's saying, hey, Ari, you got to do this. You have to do that for yourself. That's hard.
That's it.
Because, you know, when you're in school, you have deadlines, you have things. When you have a job, your boss says, these are your responsibilities, this is what you have to do. When it's just you, as a comedian, as an artist, it's hard. That's a hard thing to
It's hard
to do.
because that's what we are. So it's always, you know, hustling and grinding always. Because the other thing is, I mean, I've been doing comedy 20 years. I'm, you know, loosely at first, but then really getting into it. But it's gone like that. If I had 20 to right now, that's 65. I'm not going to be fucking doing, you know, clubs and shit like that when I'm 65. I just don't want to be doing that.
And not only do you not want to be doing that, how many 65-year-old comedians get to do that?
That's right.
Unfortunately, there's a short shelf life for being a touring headliner.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it just, if you're not going up, it dwindles year by year. There's only a handful of those people. Yeah. You know. So I like plan D. Fuck plan B and C, plan D. So I'm, you know, also I want to, I just want to chill on the way out. You know what I mean? I want to bother my daughter. I want to go fucking live like next door or something, or above the garage. You know, I'm like, I'll watch the kids. Yeah, and I want to go to Jamaica and shit like that. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I mean, there's got to be an end game, you know. I remember when the Mega Millions was something stupid, 200 million or whatever, and it was a bunch of us comedians were all sitting around, and everyone's saying, like, would you quit? Would you quit? If you had $200 million right now, would
we
you
had
quit
that same
comedy?
thing. There was a $1 billion one this year. No, I wouldn't. But I would say this.
You're out of your mind.
I wouldn't quit, but I would say this. I wouldn't be good, and I wouldn't be doing the same thing because if someone's like, hey, do you want to drive to Temecula for a $50 bar show? I'd be like, fuck, no. Yeah. I'm not doing that.
Well, I would still podcast because I just love that. You know, that would be my hobby. It would become
exactly. Comedy would be a hobby.
It would become. You asked me if I had a hobby. My goal is to turn this shit all into a hobby. I would definitely podcast, and then I would also like back friends. Like, you got a great project or whatever. If I had $1 billion, I'd be like, yeah, let's go fucking make that movie. You know what I mean? And I would do that. So I would stay in this world, but I wouldn't be grinding, fucking trying to put together a 5 for fucking late. Like, late
I would
night.
not be standing in line at an open mic. I would not be. I wouldn't even if the show was overbooked and they're like, yeah, you're up last. You're in an hour and a half. I'd be like, all right, I'll do it next time.
Yep, I'm out of here, guys.
Yeah,
I got $1 billion.
Yeah,
I'm gonna drive my tank home, guys. You know,
what car would you buy if you had $1 billion?
Honestly, You'll be disappointed. Like, if you want me to give you an exotic one, it would be something in the Ferrari world, probably.
I know. Yeah, it's easy to say. Okay,
But I just would like an old F-150, like a nice one. Like
when you say old, like what year? Like 80s?
60s.
60. Okay,
or a
that's
68,
cool. No,
69 Bronco.
that's a cool answer.
But
so an old classic American
nothing
car.
like $100,000, fucking Maserati.
But still, those
or,
a classic.
yeah, classic.
Bronco
Something that's probably under
is-
$20,000. But that's how you stay a billionaire, man.
Yeah, if
That's
that's
how
what
you
you
stay a
want. I don't want to stay a billionaire if I got a billion. I want to go crazy.
Look, you pass that shit along somewhere down your line from now. If you hit $1 billion, somewhere down your lineage, 5 generations later, there's going to be some fucking crack addict that ruins it all. Who knows? Who knows
Yeah.
how long that money's going to keep going?
That's why you got to spend it
There'll
so
be
someone
one
else does
asshole
it.
that'll
Yeah,
ruin the whole train.
that's
for
why you got to
everybody.
be the one to ruin the train. You leave a little for your kids, so they have a good life. Also, if you got $1 billion right now, and you left, let's just say even $500 million for your kids, that's I don't think that's a healthy thing to do for someone.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's
you
not.
don't want to leave your kids that much money. You want to leave your kids enough money where they go, "Fuck yeah, that's awesome! I just got $1 million," but not enough where they can go, "Oh, I'm about to go party."
Yeah, that's death.
Yeah,
You're killing your kids socially. I mean, I want my daughter to have a work ethic.
Exactly.
I don't want her to grow up like I did.
Yeah, you don't want her to grow up to be a
nuts.
DJ.
No, fuck
Yeah.
that. No. But you got to support everything. So if she was a, I'd be like, that's fine. You're the best guy.
Dad,
DJ.
what I like to do is I like to take ecstasy with my friends and make beats. That's what I want to do.
And I would say, look, the beat shit is good. Let me show you some friends that used to eat ecstasy all the time. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's the cool
Dad,
thing about
this
the drug
is
world.
pure
where I
Molly
can show-
from the dark web.
Let
It's
me
not
show
that
you
bad.
Some Miley Cyrus pictures real quick. Make the beats.
So you're single. Do you still bust nuts?
You mean solo nuts?
Any kind of Do you
Yeah.
bust? And
Yeah, I'm human.
what are you still having sexual intercourse with women
It happens.
every now and then?
Yeah.
How
I mean, not
are
as
you-
often as I'd like.
Right?
At
Yeah.
all.
You and me, both.
At all. I mean, it's stupid how busy I am. Like, there are girls that
Like, do you have time? Are you dating? Do you have time to date
No,
anyone?
I don't. I mean, no, I don't. I wish I had more time. It would be nice to really like. But on top of the schedule I also have a schedule with my daughter. So it's like, here's the nights I, don't have her.
Yeah.
And those are the nights. And on those nights, I podcast. I do stand up. You know what I
Right.
mean? So those nights are usually taken.
Yeah.
And there's more. What I'm trying to say is, as far as producing your schedule, there's more windows in the evening. Like, I'm available from 9 to midnight,
Right.
or we can go grab dinner or a drink or whatever after a show. Like, that's the
Yeah.
sort of like pockets where I create space for social interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's not much, so that's why
So
for any woman to like come in and adapt to this schedule,
they got to be a little mentally ill, probably.
a little off, which I
Yeah.
like. I like a little off because we're off, but also like,
They got to be off in the right way.
yeah, but they'd have to pretty much put up with like, you're never you. Like, could you please make one night a week for me? Like, I fucking can't. Like,
You're like, maybe.
I can't
Yeah,
promise
maybe
that
sometimes,
all,
yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to. You basically got to find a girl who also has a weird schedule.
Yeah, like a flight attendant. Like, you're gonna be out for 3 nights. Perfect.
Right.
You know?
You're leaving for a couple of weeks. All right. Well, I'll see you when you get back. Hopefully.
I remember having this thought when I was in the hospital when my daughter was born. Like, all the nurses were so cute, and I thought, I'm going to tell all my single dude friends that they should go eat at the hospital cafeteria. It's pretty solid food, Santa Monica. And the nurses are really pretty and cute. Can I bring this up?
Yeah.
Are really pretty and cute. And maybe I should just take my own advice, because they have demanding schedules too, nurses. They're always gone.
Yeah. My dad was a doctor,
Was he?
and he never dated a nurse, but his schedule was weird. He was an emergency room doctor.
Operation?
I think minor operation.
Did he ever operate on you? Did he ever have to do?
He's given me stitches, so nothing, no real operation. He's done minor things.
Because I've met.
He's never done like surgery on me. I've never, luckily, knock on wood, I've never needed any major surgery.
I can't remember who it was. Someone came on the Craft Feast whose dad was a surgeon and was like, I'm not going to, because if something goes wrong, you just, so they put it to someone else.
My dad would want to save money, but I wouldn't want him to. Yeah.
Like, I want you to save my life.
Yeah.
Fuck the
He'd
money.
be like, he's like, if we have to get a surgeon for this, it's going to be a $10,000 surgery. The insurance is going to go up. Let me just do it. I can do it. Yeah. And I'd be like, no thanks, Dad.
No.
But he was also, you'd think having a doctor as a dad, he would be maybe kind of a worry wart, or like, you got the, I don't know. But he was the opposite of that. Like, if you were sick, he'd just be like, you got the cold. Don't worry about it. Don't come. He would never, I never went in and got x-rays all the time. He was not an overdiagnosed doctor. He was very, you'll be fine. Chill out. You want to give some advice to other people?
In what world?
I got callers.
Oh, yeah. In. Let's fucking give some advice to callers.
Let's give some.
How do you tell them to call in?
They have to email me. I don't actually have a phone number. And the reason that I do email is because if you call in, the audio quality is really bad.
So they're watching right now?
Not this second. No.
Oh,
so it's not live. Oh, no. We're playing a pre-recorded
Gotcha.
call. Yeah.
Oh, and then they'll hear their. Gotcha.
Yeah. So they don't get to interact. So this is from Becky Quinn.
I just feel like every time I make any kind of payment on my credit card, something more just comes on, and it's so stressful. It's like I can never make any headway in that area, and it just keeps me up at night. I can't sleep, and it's really been bugging me, and I don't know what to do about it.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah, my advice right away would be ask you. You have no fucking debt.
Yeah.
You're the expert on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious. You're like, every time I pay a payment on my credit card, something comes up. A couple things. First thing, cut up your credit card because you clearly aren't responsible enough to have one.
Stop using it.
Because
not only are you putting yourself in debt, you're fucking up your credit, which is going to hurt you down the line.
Yeah. So, I mean, straight up, you don't want to spend money you don't have, ever. If it can all be avoided, you avoid it. So cut up your credit cards. And then the second thing is, if let's say you're saying, well, I can't cut it up because I need it to live. I need it. Well, then that means you're not making enough money. That means you're either working a part-time, not working enough hours, or your job isn't paying enough. So you clearly need to figure out another means of income, whether that be giving up whatever hobby you're doing, whatever else you're pursuing. Maybe you're creating an online store, and that's why you don't have a job, because you're working on your company. Well, it's not working out for you right now. So you got to put that on the back burner. You got to put less time into that, and you got to make more money. Get yourself out of this hole.
The other thing you can do, that the one thing I've done through debt all these years, and I'm sure I paid more than double of what I've owed with stupid interest I had when I was in college and stuff. But my credit's high 7s, low 8s right now, which is fucking good.
Yeah.
And I get the no interest card, transfer the balance for 1 year, and you're paying no interest. That way, the other card's clear, and if some emergency does come up, you can charge here, and this one's just a payment plan with no extra money.
I think that's a good short-term fix.
Very short-term.
Short-term. Yeah, I mean, you have me. I don't want to brag, but I have a credit card, and I just have my bank automatically set to pay it in full every month. So I pay no interest, and I still get those 2% back on my purchases. Right. But if you're not responsible enough to do that, if you're not responsible enough to not spend money you don't have, then a credit card isn't for everyone. Some people are like, you got to get a credit card. You got to start building your credit. If you can't handle a credit card, if that piece of plastic in your pocket, you're going to spend that money you don't have, then you shouldn't have a credit card.
Listen to the guy with no
Use your debit card. There's nothing wrong with just having a debit card. That doesn't mean you're poor. It means you know yourself and that you can't handle a credit card.
That's right.
All right, let's go to the next call. This is from Latanya Gilliard. I probably didn't say that right.
Hello, my name is Latanya, and I really need some advice on how to deal with a coworker. Now, we work with the public, and so when they come in, we provide services and things, and sometimes we deal with people that are really obese. I mean, sometimes morbidly obese, but obese nonetheless. But my coworker says things about them like, stop eating so many Whoppers, lady, or Josh, cut back on carbs and stuff like that. Push back from the table.
It's like
I'm
she's reading.
I look at her.
Yeah, it really
and
doesn't
she is
seem
not
like
skinny herself. I mean, I am no spring chicken, but she's bigger than me. And she's not obese, but I look at her talking and she's got like 3 chins. And I'm like, really? How can I get her to be more considerate, more compassionate? That's all. I just don't want to hurt her feelings either. So help.
Where do you work? Why would you give that information that you're at a place where you have all these obese
morbidly
people?
obese people come into your place?
Do you work at a diabetes clinic?
What
is this place? You work at Overeaters Anonymous, a diet studio. Where is it that you work?
You want the real truth? You want to know how to get rid of her? You go to HR and you rat on her. That's it. That's the only way you're gonna get her to change. She ain't changing.
No, do not be a rat.
I'm not saying you have to be a rat or you should be, but if you want to know how to really get rid of somebody, that's the fucking way.
I guess, yeah. You could be like
anonymous. Tip it. Anonymous.
What'd you say? The coworker? Did she say the coworker's name? No, your coworker. The coworker is whoever, or you just make fun of them back. You said you don't want to be mean. Sometimes you got to get mean. You go, why are you making fun of these obese people? You're fat as fuck. Shut your mouth. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for these people. Be a hero.
Be a hero.
We'll do one more.
Let's do one more.
Lars Frugard.
Oh, Lars Frugard. All right. I feel like he's got an
Hi,
out.
my name is Lars, and I'm asking for some advice. I have a crazy ex who keeps on basically haunting me. And I say haunting because it's everywhere I go, I feel like I run into her. Or even...
Did you think it was a homosexual at first?
I didn't think anything.
For some reason, I was at the beginning right up front. I thought it was a homosexual, and then he said it was her.
Well, I didn't prejudge.
But
you know what? He could be with a man now because it is an ex.
Let's listen to it again. You tell me you don't think there's a homosexual voice?
Hi, my name is Lars. I'm asking for some advice.
That's a homosexual right there. Okay, well,
let's listen.
I have a crazy ex who keeps on basically haunting me. And I say haunting because it's everywhere I go, I feel like I run into her. Or even on Facebook, she's totally commenting all the time. Emails, sending me emails about how much she's missing me. I had to block her phone number because she kept on texting me and calling me. And it's just become to a place where I feel almost unsafe. And I don't know, maybe she's going to do something crazy. So can you help me? How do I set boundaries?
Well, I think you started already by blocking her from your phone.
Yeah.
I would unfriend her on all social media, and I would play the ignore game immediately and see how that goes after 2 months. 2 months.
You think play ignore game as opposed to just messaging her, hey, leave me the fuck alone, psycho?
It sounds like he's probably already done that with the amount of times she's reached out and he's had to block her. Now, if he hasn't, you should just be straight up with her and say, look, it's over. But after that, that shit doesn't get through to people like that. It doesn't matter how many. That's you've just presented a new challenge, and like I'm gonna get you back. You think? Oh, is that what you think?
Cut them out. You're saying?
Yeah. Ignore them. Cut them loose. Just.
What, a restraining order, you think, or not yet?
No, I mean, it doesn't sound like she's done anything
physical. Maybe stop it before she does.
And we don't know the content of those messages either. So.
Or do you think double down, maybe, bring another girl around, let her see that you're with someone else. Just get that jealousy up. Get her to hate you.
That could then be that could go 2 ways. That could be yes, the straw that breaks the camel's back, like I'm out of here, or that could be like, oh, it's 2 against 1. Oh, I fucking like the way this shit is. Who knows how crazy she is.
I mean, like she'd want to get in on threesome?
No, I mean like she's gonna fucking fuck with 2 people now.
Oh, like her and that.
Harass and everything else. Yeah, I guess that can scary.
Have you ever had to deal with a crazy girlfriend that you had to block on everything?
Not a girlfriend, but I had a girl in college. I took a astronomy class. It was nighttime at this community college, and it was in a planetarium. I had a small planetarium when I'm generous with that. But there was, this is no cell phones, no anything. This is 1990. That's how already we're at 1992, 3, like with that pocket. And the teacher said, look, walk the ladies to their cars. Guys, make sure if you're going this way, walk with the ladies. Make sure they get this way. 'Cause it's, we're getting out probably like 10 o'clock at this time. And I walked this one girl to her car.
Because you're a gentleman. Mm-hmm. You're a
and then
guy.
She wanted to give me a ride to mine. And I still regret to this day ever doing that. And I was like, no, it's okay. And she did. And she saw my license, everything. And then,
but this was your first time meeting her?
In class.
Yeah.
And she started
you didn't know.
Showing up at my home, calling. We all had our phone numbers on a phone sheet list in the class because we worked together. Like, I bet you don't do that shit now. Started calling me all the time, showing up, leaving notes on my car in the middle of the night. Like, it just got crazy weird.
She stalked you. You had a stalker.
It was definitely a stalker. And she would call my home and
did you live with your parents?
I lived with my grandma.
Your grandma. So she'd call and your grandma would pick up?
Yeah.
Did your grandma think she was crazy, or did your grandma like, that sweet girl's calling you?
I would let my
again?
grandmother listen on the other line to the things she'd say, yeah. Because she would tell me, like, I have a nanny who only speaks Spanish. I'm married. My husband and I are studying to be in the FBI. We go to College Park. This is an additional class we take.
There's no way she was actually married in the FBI, though, right?
She wasn't in the FBI. That's what her studies. She
hopefully they didn't let her in. They probably have like a mental illness.
She said, I speak Spanish. She doesn't speak any English. I'm like, you don't know that. So she showed up at my place. So one night I did this. I did exactly what you're saying. I'm so glad you talked about this. So she told me she wanted to fuck me, and I was like, I'm not interested, and she said, my husband and I own a sub shop down in College Park, Maryland, where University of Maryland is. And she's like, do you want me to bring you a cheesesteak? And I was like, sure. This is early. So she brings
before you knew she was crazy.
Before she was crazy.
Yeah.
So she brings me a couple of us in class, but I'm included heavily. And I'm like, this is a fucking good cheesesteak. So then she starts bringing a cheesesteak once a week. Okay.
Wow.
And one night, I'm telling my cousin all this. My cousin was cute, and I said, look, dress cute and just come and sit next to me and act like we're dating. She doesn't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
So I'm doing what you say. Like, bring that other person around and make her hopefully mad and get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And this girl was big. This girl was 6 foot. She was a big girl.
Wow.
So I purposely come into class late.
With your cousin.
She sits here. I sit, there's one row between us. Or no, I'm sorry. I sit right behind her. And it's that auditorium, the stadium seating.
Yeah.
So we come in late with my cousin, and she sees us right away. And I go to take my seat right behind her. My cousin thinks this is all a joke. She doesn't think...
Yeah, she's not.
I'm overdoing it.
You just didn't know how crazy this girl was.
And this chick stood up in front of class and turned around and took that cheesesteak and threw it right into my chest. Hit me so hard with that motherfucking cheesesteak and stormed. I made a scene, slammed the doors, and everyone's turning. My
that
cousin's
probably
like,
made you look
so
cool.
My cousin's like, she's fucking crazy,
dude. That is awesome. I bet you every girl in that class wanted to fuck you after that.
I don't know about that, man. That shit was nuts. And then she showed up at my house like that weekend. That was like a Thursday. Like that Friday night, I go downtown with my friend, and we're in Fells Point. We're drinking, and we come back, and he's sleeping on the floor of my bedroom. I'm in this tiny ass little row home, and I'm in a twin bed, and you got to turn sideways to get in. You know what I mean? To slide down and to get in the bed. And he's laying on the floor, and I'm telling him the story. And as I'm telling him the story, I see these headlights come across the wall, and they stop. And I'm like, I bet you it's her out there right now. And we look out, and it is. And she's putting some shit on my windshield. And
what was it that she put
it
on
was
her
a
windshield?
note, and we were scared. Both of us too scared to run out and get it because we didn't know if she'd be coming back.
Totally.
You know what I mean? I'm like, you go get it. He's like, you get it. So I got it, and it just was like this whole,
I forgive you. I want you back.
Like it was sort of getting there. Like, and also like I get it. I'm married. I'm like, yeah. So the next day, she shows up at the front door, and I tell my brother, I'm like, holy shit, that's the fucking chick. And I go hide down in the basement, and I just hear like the Charlie Brown talking through the floor, and then I don't hear anything. And I'm like, oh shit. Like I'm like, something happened. I go upstairs, and this fucking idiot is eating a cheesesteak. He's eating. He's like, it's a good fucking cheesesteak. I'm like, that thing could be poisonous, dude. Like, what are you doing? So
I thought in my head I was like, this idiot is hooking up with this crazy girl.
Doesn't even tell me, hey, she's gone. He's over there eating a cheesesteak. No, he knew she was a lunatic. So, I mean, like a couple of months later, I'm with the girl I'm seeing at the time, and I go see a good friend of mine. We all know each other real well, but they go to College Park. And his girlfriend and I are talking, and I say, yeah, I had this fucking stalker in this astronomy class, and I just see her eyes start to get, and she starts hitting my buddy Jeff, like, listen to what he's saying. And I go, what's going on? She's like, listen to this. And they're like, and I tell that story, and they're like, oh my God. And the girl goes, you're the guy. I go, what? His fucking girlfriend at the time, this is a crazy small world story, was lab partners with her at a class in University of Maryland. And this girl had been telling her about this guy at Catonsville, where I went, the whole fucking time.
Holy
shit. They were like, you're the fucking guy. I was like, through the cheesesteaks. She's like, oh my God. Like, yeah, she's my lab partner. She's been telling me all semester about the dude she wanted to have an affair with. And it turns out to be like her boyfriend and I were like best friends, you know.
That's wild.
It's nuts, dude.
I bet you her side of the story was just so different too.
Oh God, yeah.
It was probably insane.
I was like, let me tell you how that shit went down. You know, and I got a cousin to back it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some girls are just
guys too, though. I think guys are creepier and way scarier. It's just more intimidating, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's crazy people both sides, but it's just like different crazies.
It's emotionally different over here. Yeah,
it's like guys are crazy because of their penises, and girls are crazy because of their brains
and emotions.
Yeah,
I would say that's probably pretty fair.
Yeah, like so different. I don't know if I'll ever fully understand women, but maybe.
I have not done well so far.
Yeah, I guess either of us have. Well, check out your album on iTunes.
Yeah, get a hold of yourself on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, Pandora, everywhere.
Everywhere you want to get it, you can get it. Get a hold of yourself by Ryan Sickler. Thanks for coming on my podcast.
Thanks for becoming and letting me come on your podcast.
Thanks for coming on my podcast.
Thanks for having me.